Okay, welcome to UFO Buster Radio, episode number 34. This is Manny Moonraker, and we have a somber episode today because we have some sad news to report. And if you're up on ufology news, you know that ufology on August 2nd lost one of the great researchers and journalists, and not just in ufology, but just in conspiracy theories as well. And you probably know from the title of this episode that I am referring to the recent loss of Jim Marrs. I was looking around to see which newspaper article or publication article I can have for you guys to look at to read about Jim Marrs, just in case you're not familiar with him. And I stumbled across the one publication that he actually worked for back in the day. And their article reads, JFK conspiracy theorist and UFO author Jim Marrs has died. So Jim Marrs was really a prolific author, and he actually authored a book titled Crossfire, The Plot to Kill Kennedy, and that book actually inspired Oliver Stone and his perspective in filming the JFK movie. So as stated earlier, on August 2nd, Jim Marrs did pass away at the age of 73, and he suffered a heart attack. Now, here's something that people outside of this podcast will not know, and actually no one knew because I was almost 2 inches away from interviewing Jim Marrs for this show back in April. And I couldn't figure out why the interview never happened, but all the news reports that are leaking out kind of explains what happened. Apparently in March, there was an announcement on his Facebook page that due to an unspecified illness, Jim Marrs had to cancel a lot of appearances and upcoming events. Some of the things that he was not able to attend was the 5th annual Out of This World UFO Conference in Edinburgh, Texas. I was actually looking forward to going to that. And the other was the Free Your Mind Conference in Philadelphia. Now, the first time that I came across Jim Marrs was last year at the Aurora Alien Encounter. Jim Marrs was the very first presenter. And one of the things that struck me was that even at his age, he came in, he gave his presentation. And when I tell you folks that this 70-year-old actually, he pretty much exited stage left when he was done just to get on an airplane to go speak at another conference that he was going to be at that very same day. So really, I sat back there in awe. I could not believe that he was actually jet setting this way. And it was a great presentation. It was about the situation in Aurora back in 1897. As a matter of fact, that specific presentation is still on YouTube, so you can actually find it and check it out. Now, apparently, his illness, which he was suffering back in March, continued to worsen because on June 24th, on his own website, he wrote the following. Howdy Friends, the site will be suspended for a time while my health issues are being addressed. The links to pages, books, DVDs will remain active. Please monitor this site for future developments. I welcome your support and well wishes and look forward to communicating with you in the future. Jim Marrs. So, there is more than enough evidence to show that his health was deteriorating. And, of course, sadly, he passed recently. So the reason I picked the article in the Star-Telegram, which is a Texas publication, is because Jim Marrs was actually a reporter for the Star-Telegram from 1968 to 1980. And one of the things that they point out, number one, is he didn't just write about John Kennedy. Jim Marrs wrote about a lot of conspiracies, especially things dealing with the government. Other things that he talked about was things from UFOs to population control. But overall, Jim Marrs was not one of these 4.2 far type of guys, right? He wasn't your Romaneks or those individuals, which he was a straightforward journalist, and he really wanted to report things that dealt with the truth of the matter, the things that the regular guy like you and I are not getting from our day-to-day conversations. What's interesting is that he even taught a course on the JFK assassination and UFOs at the University of Texas at Arlington before he retired in 2007. There was one great quote that I found from Jim Marrs regarding his perspective on UFOs. And his quote says, "There's definitely something out there in the air, but I don't think there's anything to fear here." So again, it's another one of these individuals that we come across within the realm of ufology that really is a straight shooter. I don't think that any of these books, though I haven't read them myself, are going to lead you too far from the middle road. So some of the books that Jim Marrs authored were Crossfire, The Plot That Killed Kennedy, and it actually reached the New York Times paperback nonfiction bestseller list. He also authored Alien Agenda in 1997, Rule by Secrecy in 2000, The Terror Conspiracy Revisited in 2007, The Rise of the Fourth Reich in 2008, The $1 Trillion Conspiracy 2010, Our Occulted History in 2013, Population Control in 2015, and his last book, The Illuminati, in 2017. I know a lot of you conspiracy theorists out there are going to say the Illuminati has something to do with it, but that in itself might be 4.2 far. Now, on top of being a prolific writer, Jim Marrs also won several writing and photography awards, including Aviation and Aerospace Writers Association National Writing Award and Newsmaker of the Year from the Fort Worth chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists. Try to say that like 10 times. Holy shit. In 1993, he also received the Freedom Magazine's Human Rights Leadership Award. On top of that, let me tell you, this is the thing about these conferences. You kind of have to go back and really look at the people that you are listening to and look at their history, because I had no idea that the Jim Marrs history was so rich and he was so well regarded. Jim Marrs also appeared on ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, C-SPAN, the Discovery, Learning, and History channels, This Morning America, Geraldo, Montel Williams, Today, Tech TV, and Larry King, George Noory, and Art Bell radio programs. I mean, oh my gosh, all these accomplishments. The guy was no stranger to finding avenues to get his story out, and in fact, at one point, he even had his own radio show that he conducted interviews on 3 days of the week. But this goes to show you why so many people out there that deal with this topic continuously say, where is the new breed? Where are the new researchers to take the mantle of people like Jim Marrs? Are we really going to get stuck with the hokiness and dark side of ufology, which we seem not to be able to shake because in our social world, they take front and center stage on every medium out there today? What's funny is that I also came across another quote on one of these articles from his wife, Carol Marrs. And she said, "I just remember how funny he was. I don't think about the conspiracy part, although he was an excellent teacher. His mission in life was to pursue the truth." That should be all of our missions. To pursue the truth. And that really is the gist of this episode. It is really short because you can't, there really is no reason to follow the passing of Jim Marrs with any of the UFO topic nonsense. But at UFO Buster Radio, That's what I'm after, and a lot of the people that I've met along the way are after the same thing that Jim Marrs was looking for. And that is the truth, and only the truth. Sayonara.